Today I am in London, but I am not in front of Buckingham Palace. I am in front of Windsor Castle because I wanted to dedicate a video to the Queen, because on the 21st of April it's her birthday. The Queen was born in 1926. So she has lived almost 95 years. That's a long time. So I think she has done a lot, and she has seen a lot in 95 years. Hello, I'm Rachel. Welcome to Smile English Stories, where you can listen to English in lots of different contexts. If I speak too quickly or too slowly, you can change the speed in YouTube. Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II has reigned for almost 70 years. She became Queen in 1952 when her father, King George VI, died. A lot of people in England are excited because next year, 2022, it will be her Platinum Jubilee, and they are going to have 4 days off, a long weekend to celebrate in June. The Queen has seen a lot of changes and a lot of technological transformations during her reign. The Queen's coronation was in 1953. Isn't she beautiful? And in the early 1950s, TV was becoming popular. And a lot of people rushed to the shops to buy a television to watch the coronation on the TV. But not everybody had a television. My mum remembers the coronation. She was 11 at the time, and she says that a lot of people got together in friends and families' houses to watch the coronation. And the Queen has seen the change from travel by ship on a big boat to travel by plane, because she travelled for a long time by ship. She travelled on her royal yacht Britannia from 1952 to 1997. You can visit the Royal Yacht Britannia today if you like. It's in Edinburgh in Scotland. But after 1997, she travelled long distance by plane, either British Airways or the RAF, the Royal Air Force. And the Queen has seen other changes. Of course, she has seen rockets going up into space. And she has seen, not personally, but she has watched a man landing on the moon for the first time. And of course, in more recent times, she has seen computers arriving and the internet and smartphones. Did you know the Queen has a phone? She even made her first Instagram post. Of course, the Queen has had a lot of opportunities, and she has done a lot of things in her life. But what hasn't she done? Well, the Queen has never been to school, and she has never been to university. But she has studied a lot at home, and she is a well-educated person. La reine n'a pas besoin d'apprendre l'anglais. The Queen doesn't need to learn English, but she learned French, and apparently she can speak French very well. And I think the Queen has never passed her driving test, but she can drive. She learnt to drive in 1944, 1945, at the end of the war, when she was just about 18. And she learnt to repair like a mechanic.
She knows how to change tires and check motors. She drives in convoys.
Apparently, she still enjoys driving today. She doesn't drive on public roads, but she does drive on the land around her country castles. Apparently, she likes driving fast too. And she likes Land Rovers and Range Rovers. And she once drove the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia around. He was quite surprised that she didn't have a chauffeur. And the Queen has never had a passport. She doesn't need a passport to travel because passports in England are made in the name of Her Majesty the Queen. But she's the only person who doesn't need a British passport. The Queen has reigned for almost 70 years. But as a queen, she doesn't really have a lot of power. And as the Queen of the United Kingdom and the head of the Commonwealth, she is supposed to stay politically neutral, which she has done for the last 70 years of her reign. She could vote, but to demonstrate she's neutral, she has never voted in her life. Of course, the Queen has met a lot of different people in her life, both famous people and ordinary people like you and me. I have never met the Queen, but apparently it's very easy to talk to the Queen. She meets the British Prime Minister once a week. So she has met a lot of Prime Ministers. Her first Prime Minister was Sir Winston Churchill, who of course you have heard of. But she has met most of the American presidents in her life too. She has met all the American presidents during her reign except President Johnson, because she was pregnant at the time with her youngest son, Edward. I read Michelle Obama's book, Becoming, last year, and I remember Michelle Obama saying when she met the Queen, she put her arm round the Queen, which you just don't do. But the Queen put her arm round Michelle in return. Apparently, they were exchanging stories about having sore feet, hurting feet, because of their heels on their shoes.
Oh well.
You probably know that I enjoyed travelling in India a long time ago. That's probably why one of my favourite pictures of the Queen is when she met Mother Teresa in New Delhi in 1983. By the way, the Queen has a lot of pairs of shoes, of course, But she doesn't walk in the shoes to make them comfortable. She doesn't break them in. She has a special person who walks in her shoes to break her shoes in. You might know, you probably know, that the Queen has loved animals all her life too. She's very famous for her corgis. She has had 30 corgis so far in her life. The first one's name was Susan, and she got Susan when she was only 18. And then a few years later, the Queen invented a new dog. Her sister Margaret and the Queen bred a new dog when they mixed the Queen's corgi with her sister's Dachshund. And they called it a Dorgie. So now the Queen has corgis and dorgies. The Queen is also a passionate horse rider, and apparently she still rides horses, but she breeds horses. She breeds horses for horse racing, and the Queen's horses have won a lot of trophies. And of course, the Queen is famous for her posh hats. Not like my hat. The Queen has hats of every colour of the rainbow to go with her very bright suits. The Queen has had more than 1,000 hats in her life. Some years, her hat maker or milliner made 40 to 50 hats in 1 year for the Queen. And her hats always go with her suits. They always go together. They always match each other. But where has the Queen been in all these beautiful bright suits? They're bright, by the way, so you can see her in a crowd. Very important. Well, the Queen has travelled to more than 100 countries. The last country she travelled to was Malta. And when she came back from Malta, she decided she wasn't going to go on a plane anymore. And that was back in 2015. The Queen has been to Canada the most. She first went in 1951 and she last went in 2010. I don't know why she likes Canada so much. It is one of the Commonwealth countries. Perhaps she just likes maple syrup. Of course, the Queen was accompanied on most of her trips, on most of her visits, by Prince Philip, her husband, who sadly died this week. So I hope all those good memories will help the Queen to stay positive, to remain positive, to continue to be of good humour, as everybody says she has always been. So next week we are going to go to 2 countries from the British Commonwealth, perhaps the countries which are the furthest from the United Kingdom. We're going to go to Australia and to New Zealand, but for a new recipe. So come back next week. Take care. Goodbye.